This laptop is the best laptop I've ever owned. It is the perfect laptop for 99% of people. Stick around in this video and I'll explain why. What's up guys, I'm the London Nomad and it's my mission in life to make you financially free. No matter if you're a video editor, blogger or coder, the M1 MacBook Air is perfect for you. I've had this laptop for 3 months and honestly you will never find a comparable laptop for $999. It's just that good. Honestly, I would pay more for the laptop because this price point is unbeatable. Get it for the best possible price in Amazon down in the link in the description. I'm gonna go through all the elements of why I think it's such a fantastic machine. Please skip around using the timestamps to find what you need. So a big part of what makes the M1 MacBook so special is the M1 processor chip. Apple has ditched the Intel level processors and instead used the M1 chip, which is like the A14 chip on iPhone on steroids. This means that everything from the laptop is created by Apple, which makes it super energy efficient. The M1 is Steve Jobs' dream of a complete integration between software and hardware realized. This efficiency allows you to multitask with tons of different applications and tabs running. Google Chrome, it's easy. Even with the 8GB RAM model, which is the one I have. M1 is even better now because an ever-growing list of M1 optimized apps are constantly being released by Apple. You can take a look at the programs down in the link in the description. All the native Apple apps like iMovie, Final Cut, Logic will be working perfect. Even apps that are not currently optimized for the M1 architecture still benefit from the performance upgrade from the new chip. Geekbench score, which is a way to show how powerful the computer is, ranks the M1 MacBook as faster than the 2019 high-end MacBook Pro, which costs $2,499. Think about it, you're paying $999 or less for something that has almost 2.5 times the performance of something that is $2,499, and it turns on instantly. Base model is $999 or $899 / $47.91 a month for 12 months for students with a free pair of AirPods, which is a bar with 20% off Apple Care. Storage is 256GB SSD with upgrades up to 512 1TB or 2TB SSD. Apple charges a premium for upgrading your storage. I would personally recommend just going with the base model. It's fine for me. Think about it. You pay $200 for 250GB of storage per upgrade. This is not worth it. You can get a super fast 1TB SSD SanDisk storage drive for $156. Take a look down in the link in the description. If you upgrade anything, it should be the $200 for the 16GB RAM version. I've never found the RAM to be a problem, but ironically today when I was using Safari, I actually saw the spinny wheel of death. So I recommend, if you're going to spend more money, definitely get the 16GB RAM. But I've been using the 88GB RAM, it's been fine for me. So thermal performance, it has no heat or fan, unlike the MacBook Pro. But honestly, unlike my 2015 MacBook, that was hot to the touch, even with doing basic things like going on Chrome. This is cold to the touch, even when doing extensive tasks like exporting 4K video. If you're a videographer who does very complicated editing with 4K video, then maybe get the MacBook Pro, because the extra fan is going to give benefits to thermal throttling performance. Don't do any sort of heavy 4K video, there's no point in getting the Pro. Stick with the Air and save that $300. Ultra thin and sexy and slim. Comes in silver, gold or space gray. Mine is space gray. Made of 100% recycled aluminium. Mine is unchanged. I don't think they needed to change it. I still think it looks beautiful even in 2021. But the width, the height is 0.16 inches, 0.63 inches. Width is 11.97 inches. The depth is 8.36 inches and the weight is 2.8 inches. It's so small, it easily fits in a backpack, no problem. It's similar size to an iPad Pro with the Magic Keyboard attachment, but it's slim, it's slick, I love it. Only issue I have is the 2 USB ports here are to the left hand side. So many times that my charger is on the right hand side to me, so I have to put the cable up and connect it to the back. I wish there was one USB port on the left and one USB port on the right next to the headphone jack, but everything can't be perfect. Because there's only 2 USB ports, you're gonna have to use a USB hub, such as this beautiful one for Anchor that has an SD card slot, 2 USB slots and an HDMI. The only thing I don't like about it is when it's called a dongle and it's just dongling off the side. I don't know if this is gonna do damage to the USB hub in the future. The only reason I use this is when I edit videos such as this one for an SD card. I wish it had an SD card slot. That's the only problem with it. Now there's thick bezels around the screen. So if you're a bit of a tech nerd, it's gonna annoy you, but for me, it doesn't mean much to me. So the keyboard and the trackpad. Backlit Magic Keyboard with touch bar and ID sensor so you can type in the dark easily. It's a joy to type on. If you follow this channel, you know I'm a blogger. So I write for hours on end and I've never felt pain with this keyboard. Honestly, it's a joy to type on. The way your fingers just glide across the keys, or just clickety click. I love. Function keys are a lot better than the MacBook's touch bar because you can do things like go into Finder, you can fast forward and rewind, you can turn the volume up, you can do stuff like brightness. I don't like the touch bar for the MacBook Pro. The MacBook Pro's trackpad is bigger than the Air's, but even though I've got reasonably big hands, it doesn't really feel too much of an issue. If you rely on the Magic Keyboard gestures in your workflow, maybe this will become a bit of an issue because if you've got big hands, it's hard to put 4 fingers on it. But Apple's trackpads are the best in class. No matter what, you always get a response throughout the keyboard. When I use Windows laptops, the first thing that makes me bleh is the trackpad is trash. It's not trash, it's gonna change your life using this trackpad. It supports all the different multi-gestures with haptic feedback. Honestly, a lot of people use this laptop with an external keyboard or mouse. Me, I'm conventional. This is an all-in-one machine. You don't need a mouse, you don't need an external keyboard. For my workflow, just a trackpad, it's fantastic. If you're finding value in this video, please like and subscribe because it helps it spread to more people. Okay, so the battery life. According to Apple, you get 15 hours wireless web playback with up to 18 hours Apple TV playback. In reality, I don't think the battery life is as good as Apple said, but I did buy mine from Costco, so maybe it was a used copy even though I opened it new. In about 2 hours, the battery life would drain about 15% depending on what you do. Obviously, if you're editing and exporting 4K video, it's going to drain a lot quicker than if you're just web browsing. If you leave it on full charge and work for a day, you're not going to have any problems whatsoever. It has 14 hours, 41 minutes of battery life compared to Intel MacBook's 9 hours and 30 minutes of battery life. So it's a big, huge improvement. And this is all related to the M1 chips optimization. It allows the computer to communicate within itself. Whereas if there was an Intel chip, obviously it's another coding language that the MacBook has to communicate, and it doesn't have this issue anymore. I don't think paying $300 more for an extra 2 hours of battery life for the Pro is worth it. But if you're buying for the long term and you want to use this MacBook for 3-4 years, maybe buying the Pro makes sense because the battery is bigger and hence it's going to have more longevity because it's not going to wear down as quick as the Air. But I think the battery life is fantastic irregardless. The speakers, they're wide stereo speakers with support for Dolby Atmos playback. I think the sound quality is excellent. I routinely listen to music with the sound and I feel no issue, no problem, and I love the speakers. It's got 2 speaker grills, one to the left and one to the right. Take a look at the sound quality now. Display. So display is 13.3 inch LED backlit display, 2560 by 1600 native resolution at 227 pixels. It's big enough for everything you do, especially if you use specific programs like Magnet to split your screen in half. I never found that I wanted more space. Display is not as good as the M1 iPad Air, but 4K quality is still gonna look delicious. It has 400 nits of brightness compared to the MacBook Pro's 500 nits. And only in very specific situations did you wish the screen was more bright. If you're at the beach or on top of a roof with sun coming down, then sometimes I wish the brightness was a little bit more, but this is circumstantial. If you're inside, it's fine. Microphone quality. This is something that very impressed me because the last MacBook I had was the 2015 MacBook and that camera was trash. I looked like a potato. This one, because of it's 720p, but because of the M1 optimization features for video, everything is looking extra crispy. You can take a look at the webcam quality and the microphone now. So here you can see the webcam quality, and the mic, as you can hear, is decent quality. It's probably not good enough for a YouTube video, but for FaceTime, for Zoom calls, it's more than enough. Editing performance. If you're someone who just wants an entry-level laptop to edit videos and photos, there's nothing that's comparable to this. I've edited all my videos with M1 MacBook Pro, and the difference between my 2015 MacBook is night and day. This is a different structure. As I mentioned, if you're a serious video editor and you use a lot of high intensity files and 4K footage, then you should get the Pro, because the only problem with this MacBook is because it doesn't have a fan. When it's on high intensive load, it's going to sometimes struggle and throttle if you're exporting tons of videos. But if you're just using it as a normal YouTuber, you can't go wrong. I swear to you, it exports videos instantly in comparison to the 2015 MacBook that took ages. So the M1 MacBook Air can sport a 23-minute 4K video in 15 minutes for iMovie. So if you have an older MacBook and you find exporting takes a long time, most of my stuff is 1080p because I don't really have the storage to work with 4K. And I swear to you, as soon as you click export, maybe couple seconds later it exports. It's a different world. You gotta think the amount of time you save having this machine, if you're a budding YouTuber and you're not waiting for the files to export, is invaluable just for this. Everything that's optimized for M1, such as iMovie, Final Cut Pro, it works seamlessly, it works deliciously. I love it. So, should you buy it? Yes, yes, yes. There's no better laptop that you can buy with $999. It's incomparable. Okay, maybe you want to wait for the M2 or M1X lineup of MacBook Pros coming in the next couple of months. But the problem with this is you're going to pay a lot more money because that's more of a premium machine. And the vast, and I mean 99% of content creators, they're going to be perfectly fine with the base level machine that I have. As someone who edits videos, then this is way more power than you're ever gonna need. So there's no point waiting for a machine that's gonna come in the future when this one is the future now, my friends. It has everything you need. You don't need to buy external display, you don't need to buy a keyboard, everything works 10/10. The only things I would recommend is buying an super fast SSD like this SanDisk, and you're gonna need an Anker USB hub for using SD cards and USBs, and if you want to connect it to an external monitor with HDMI cable, and it will retain its value years down the line. This is probably still worth about $700, even though I'm not very careful with my tech and it's got a lot of scratch. I'd rate this laptop 10 out of 10. Even though it has some issues with the 2 USB ports being on the left, no SD card slot, for the money, it's still a 10 out of 10. It's Apple's best product ever, I think, and one of the best laptops, if not the best laptop of all time. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more content like this. I'm living my digital nomad life because of Project 24. Take a look at the course that changed my life and other videos here. Thank you so much. Goodbye.